Hello, one. Today you're joining today for your severe weather and hurricane discussion. Today is June 27th, 2011. It is around 4:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What you're looking at right now is the Storm Prediction Center map right now. As you can see, it is a very active afternoon today, especially on the eastern half and southeastern part of the United States today. You see there is a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over portions of Tennessee and even parts of the Carolinas, where there is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect right now for portions of Tennessee and Kentucky right now, with the complex of storms that are weakening as they progress off to the east. As you can see, we also have a risk of severe thunderstorms today over portions of the Carolina region today, where we're also dealing with thunderstorms developing over across that area today, where there also is a severe thunderstorm watch in portions of the Outer Banks today until later on this afternoon, where a slight risk has also been issued with a complex of storms which have developed across those areas right now. As you see, the main threat with those storms, as well as the storms in Tennessee, are damaging winds and large hail. We also have a slight risk of thunderstorms possibly today over portions of the Texas Panhandle and portions of New Mexico where the drought is. But the threat with these storms are obviously we're going to have large hail and damaging winds, but lightning could be a big threat over there. Obviously, we're dealing with the wildfires over there. Lightning will help ignite more fires across this region. So that's going to be something we want to watch. Any storm that develops could potentially spawn more fires as the lightning hits the ground, heats the ground up, and spawns or more blazes. So we'll have to hope that doesn't happen. Hope they just get a good soaking rain. We also have a risk of severe thunderstorms in portions of the Great Lakes today, around Green Bay, Wisconsin, Duluth. So pretty much all the state of Wisconsin today is under the risk for large hail and damaging winds today. The tornado threat looks a little bit more diminished than earlier, but we're still watching the potential for maybe an isolated tornado to develop across that region. Let's see if I can back out. Let me see if I can get to the hurricane map. There we are. Alright, here's the hurricane map right now by the National Hurricane Center. As you can see, there now is a risk of a 30% chance of a possibly tropical development over portions of the Yucatan Peninsula right now. It's been increased from 20% to 30% as of the 1 p.m. update. We'll probably get a new update, I believe, around 5 o'clock or 8 p.m. if I'm not sure. We'll get a new update and see what the National Hurricane Center has to say. The tropical wave is still located on the island, but it's slowly beginning to move off to the west. As it moves off to the west, it's still encountering some shear and dry air right now. That is expected to decrease over the next few days, in about 36 to 48 hours. As this happens, environmental conditions will likely become more conducive for potential tropical development as the system progresses off to the west. So we're going to continue to watch that situation, and it has a brief window of potentially becoming a tropical cyclone during the next 36 to 48 hours. Let's look at the water vapor imagery right now. Very active across here right now. As I stop the frame right now, pretty much you can see actually where the tropical wave is, right around this area where I drew that little cursor at. That's pretty much where the axis of the tropical wave is right now. As it begins to exit off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula and move farther off to the west, once again you can see there is the trough of low pressure. There's a trough right here across the Gulf Coast and parts of the southeast, prohibiting anything that develops. There's a lot of shear and there's a lot of dry air funneling from Texas behind this system. That means this system is actually going to absorb it's absorbing probably some of this dry air currently, which is prohibiting some of the thunderstorms that are trying to develop around the center, along with its interaction with the Yucatan Peninsula and Central America. So those two factors are limiting thunderstorm development. The thinking is, as this moves off farther off to the west, into more favorable atmospheric conditions, the Bay of Campeche, we actually could possibly have environmental conditions become favorable for something to possibly want to develop across that area. You're also seeing, once again, that upper level low pressure system. There's obviously an area of thunderstorm which have popped up later in the daytime, heating over parts of the Caribbean, parts of the Puerto Rico, and parts of Hispaniola this afternoon to the evening. You see there's a lot of shear, as the shear is pretty much moving from west to east today, thanks to this area of high pressure which has developed across this area. We're still dealing with a ton of shear aloft, a lot of dry air around the Cape Verde Islands. So don't even think about anything that's going to try and develop around this area, as areas around and to the east of this are dealing with a lot of dry air. Dry air and shear around the Cape Verde Islands thanks a lot to the African Sahara dust, the dust from the desert, which has obviously came into the Atlantic Ocean. Not what tropical systems like to deal with. But back to this system we're watching. Once again, an area of high pressure aloft or upper air ridge is beginning to become dominant over this area. Which this means is this storm's going to have more favorable atmospheric condition like to develop and begin to strengthen and possibly become a closed low briefly before moving into around Tampico, Mexico on Wednesday. So it has a very small window before it moves back into land if it wants to have a chance to develop. Here's a look at the computer models right now of what they want the system to do. You can see there's only 2 models that are actually developing it into possibly a little bit more than a tropical wave. You can see the IVCN and the SHIPS model maybe want to have this maybe around tropical storm status before it moves into Mexico. But the other models want to give it a small window, maybe becoming a tropical depression. But these two want to give it the strongest reading, maybe a tropical storm briefly before moving to Mexico. If it becomes a tropical depression, a tropical storm, excuse me, it will be named Arlene. So that is the thinking right now of what could happen with this system. Back on the RGB loop flash radar satellite from the National Hurricane Center website. There it is right there. That's that system we're watching right there. And obviously, once again, here's thunderstorm cloud tops over parts of the Caribbean, and that Sahara Desert dust moving in from the west. So you can see it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what's gonna happen on the next few days. We're gonna continue to watch it for you as we get more information from the National Hurricane Center. We'll be sure to let you know. And one more thing is we're also watching this frame right here, this area of thunderstorm development over portions of the southwestern part of Mexico. We're also watching that area for potential development, possibly in the next few days. Models still want to pinpoint this as some kind of development as it's moved away from the Mexico coast. So we're not really going to watch now. Our eyes are generally on right here. We're eyes on right here. But once again, the models may be trying to shoot something out with this system. They may be trying to shoot something out as it moves to the west, but we're not really watching that right now. So stay tuned. That's it for now. Have a good day, everyone. Be sure and stay tuned here for the latest hurricane and severe weather information. Oh yeah, excuse me, one more time. One more thing I want to show you right before we go off. Let's see if I can zoom back out. I want to let you have a look at the radar right now before I go off. Sorry about that. You see it's very active across portions of the southeast right now. The severe thunderstorm watch for Tennessee and Kentucky stalled out front over parts of the Carolinas, Tennessee, up into Virginia and Kentucky. And there are some pop-up showers, thunderstorms over parts of southern Georgia. Once again, stay tuned here for the latest information on severe weather coverage.